You know, about a year ago, popular Hollywood actor Rob Lowe came out and said, quote, "People go on and on about the objectification of women, and rightly so. But what about the objectification of men?" And he claims that Hollywood objectifies men too. Now, this should be obvious to anybody who's not a sexist feminist who hates men disproportionately and doesn't judge women the same way they judge men. But you should have seen how the website Huffington Post Women, which is a feminist hornet's nest of hell, how did they react to Rob Lowe? Ha ha ha, okay. So when a male comes out and says that men are objectified based on their looks, sexually objectified, Huffington Post Women, a feminist site, responds by saying ha ha ha, okay, when they share the article. So much for gender equality. It simply makes no sense. You claim to be for gender equality, yet you scoff if any man goes through something. And of course, as Christina Hoff Sommers points out in her book, Who Stole Feminism, quote, "The gender feminists, as I shall call them, believe that all our institutions, from the state to the family to the grade schools, perpetuate male dominance. Gender feminists naturally seek recruits to their side of the gender war. They seek support, they seek vindication, they seek ammunition." Which is absolutely right. When you believe that you are a perpetual victim under assault, you have to come up with grand theories to justify your professional victim complex. And of course, the book Who Stole Feminism by Christina Hoff Sommers, I got it in audiobook a couple of years ago. And it's a really good primer to give you the history of feminism and how it's evolved, or rather devolved, over the decades. In fact, you can get this book for free on audiobook. If you sign up for audible.com, they give you a free audiobook. I'll put the link to the book in the description below. This is of course relevant because the popular character Kit Harrington from the wildly successful show Game of Thrones, which I do watch addictively, Kit Harrington came out and he said, quote, "I don't want to seem ungrateful. I'm lucky. But I can't say that I like a lot of the attention a lot of the time." He added, "You can't pick and choose when you get it. I think there is a double standard. If you said to a girl, quote, 'Do you like being called a babe?' and she said, 'No, not really,' she'd be absolutely right." Okay? He continues, "I like to think of myself as more than a head of hair or a set of looks. It's demeaning." So Jon Snow, male actor, sounding like a feminist here. I'm not bashing him, but here's the point of this video. Kit Harrington continues, "Yes, in some ways you could argue I've been employed for a look I have, but there's a sexism that happens towards men." So Kit Harrington, popular male actor, says that there's sexism towards men, but according to the Huffington Post Women Feminist Facebook page, ha ha ha, okay, Kit Harrington, you say you face sexism for your looks? Which should be obvious because men have been objectified for their looks for fucking ever. I mean, penis pills. Here's one great example. Isn't that not a form of objectification? That men are often highly regarded for whether or not they are well endowed? Is that not a form of objectification? And again, I'm not bashing objectification. Objectification is just a fact of reality. It's what humans do. It's not evil, but what my real point is to point out the double standards of modern mainstream feminism. Don't say objectification is so bad and evil, because in reality, just a fat, ugly bitch who's angry she's not getting some big, fat penis and large cock. Instead of acknowledging that men get objectified too, what do they say? Ha ha ha, okay. So they laugh it off. So much for gender equality. Here's Mr. Synthol Man, the synthol and steroid epidemic. Men, once again, objectified. So that's the point of this. Kit Harrington continues. "There's definitely a sexism in our industry that happens towards women, and there is towards men as well. At some points during photo shoots, when I am asked to strip down, I felt that. Ooh, he was judged for his looks. Quote, I felt I was being employed just for my looks. If I felt I was just being employed for my looks, I'd stop acting." So there you have it. And of course, in the latest season of Game of Thrones, warning, spoiler alert, if you're not caught up to Season 6 of Game of Thrones, if you're not caught up to Season 6 Game of Thrones, then pause this video or skip forward a minute or so, because this is a major spoiler, okay? You've been warned. So here's Jon Snow, and there was a scene where he's essentially laid out naked on a table. And, one of the interesting things was how low the camera got to his crotch in some of these scenes. And it was clearly, this was eye candy for women. And if you don't believe me, let's just go to Twitter and look at all the females fawning and drooling and swooning about Jon Snow half naked. This female says, only a naked Jon Snow would make me feel better. Another female says, catching up with Game of Thrones, Jon Snow in all his naked glory. Good start. Here's another female, Jon Snow's naked body. Hot. Another woman, naked Jon Snow makes me happy. Here's another, last week he's alive, this week he's naked. This series just gets better. And on, and on, and on. So it's fascinating. You think the feminists who obsess over these silly theories like objectification would either A, be smart enough and well-informed enough to know that objectification happens towards men, but no, they only respond with ha 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 okay, or at least that they wouldn't be so self-centered enough, so sexist, that they wouldn't just assume that it can't possibly happen to men. But that's the victim narrative. And of course, here's another shot of Jon Snow. Of course, they had to add the small butt crack they just had to sneak that in for the women, for the female and homosexual fans of Game of Thrones. And again, there's nothing wrong with male objectification. The human body is a beautiful specimen of evolution. And there's nothing wrong with celebrating that. The only people who are angry about objectification are the feminists who don't ever get objectified, are the women who don't benefit from it. Kim Kardashian, okay, she's filthy fucking rich because objectification exists. The only people angry about objectification are those who don't benefit from it, i.e. the self-hating fucking feminist. Which really shows you the true agenda behind feminism. Feminism is not about pro-woman. It's more a communistic redistribution of wealth agenda. Even with like Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter isn't pro-black people. They never get angry about black-on-black murder rates, which are through the roof. They hate black conservatives. If you're a black person and you don't toe the Black Lives Matter party line, you get ousted from the club and they hate your guts and they attack you. Which shows that Black Lives Matter is sort of a red herring. It's sort of a misnomer to distract you from what their true agenda is, which is basically just collectivism, communism, a sort of socialistic redistribution of wealth, where anybody who's more successful than them, they want to tear them down. So the feminists who claim to be pro-woman, they're really just pro-redistribution of wealth. If there's a female who uses her body to get infinite amounts of fame and glory, the feminists will say, I'm pro-woman as a cover for what their true intention is, which is, objectification is so bad, you shouldn't objectify women. You want to tear beautiful women down to your level. So, all this stuff from feminists about gender equality is just absolutely fucking hilarious. Because they claim that they're for gender equality, but the moment a man suffers from the things that feminists say only women suffer from, they respond by saying, ha ha ha, okay. So, you want a gender equality? We'll give you some real gender equality. What is that? That's a 10% off shirt. Gender equality. We're splitting the bill. Shirt is available now. Go get it. Fucking hilarious. They want a gender equality. You got it.